Record numbers of patients are facing long waits in A&E, according to documents leaked to the BBC, which show the full extent of the winter crisis in the NHS in England. More than 18,000 patients waited longer than 4 hours at A&E last week, with only one hospital hitting its target. Some 485 waited for more than 12 hours, treble the number seen during the whole of January last year. The figures come from a document compiled by the group NHS Improvement and show this winter is proving to be the most difficult for a generation. With me now is Dr. Faye Kirkland, a GP who works for the BBC as an investigative reporter on health issues. These figures come just the day after Jeremy Hunt said actually the NHS was coping well.
Absolutely, that's right. So these figures are from the first week in January, and they show that people who have seen a doctor are having to wait an extra 12 hours to be admitted on more than 485 occasions. As we said, if you compare that to January last year, that happened 185 times. So when we look at what he said yesterday, which was just a handful of people, actually the leaked documents show that yesterday there was 29 people waiting to be admitted after 12 hours, and actually more than 2,000 people who'd seen a doctor, they'd said that they need to be admitted, and between 4 and 12 hours later they were still on a trolley waiting to get to a ward.
The Red Cross says the NHS in England is facing a humanitarian crisis. Jeremy Hunt disputed that. As a doctor, what do you make of the figures that we see?
I think the figures are extremely concerning. We know that these patients are often the sickest patients. These are the people who need to be admitted, and if they're being on a ward, they might not get timely care. So the Royal College of Emergency Medicine says people who wait 12 hours on a trolley are actually at increased risk of dying. They're at increased risk of not getting medication on time, like antibiotics and drugs. So this is, these waits are so significant for these people.
Isn't it like this every winter? We go through a couple of months each year which see a particular pressure.
No, I mean, these figures are really the worst that we've seen. So we have this 4-hour target, which is when you go to A&E, you should be admitted, discharged or transferred to a ward within 4 hours. And every single hospital, bar one, has missed this target in the last week. That we've never seen that before.
The view, you will have heard it, is that too many people are abusing A&E, going there when all they need to do is go and see their GP, but therein may be the problem.
I mean, NHS England says up to 30% of people might be attending A&E inappropriately, but these 12-hour waits are absolutely the people that need to be there. I think most of the people would say that the main problem is trying to get people out of the hospital and people having delayed discharges, so that people are ending up in A&E for prolonged periods because they haven't got a bed to move on to.
What sort of things are we talking about? Are we talking about broken limbs or...?
No, so these would be real emergencies. So these are people who have heart attacks, strokes, or people who are waiting for emergency operations. So people who need emergency medical care need to be admitted and need their care in a hospital and can't be discharged home.
And we're talking about doctors and nurses who are fully aware that these people need to be treated sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. They know that these are the sickest patients. And doctors and nurses not only having to then look after these people who are waiting to go up to a ward, but they're also then having to try and care for all the influx of people who are coming in. So that's why these delayed admissions lead to these delays in people getting the urgent care that they need.
I mean, these are figures. Behind each figure is an individual story of incredible stress, pain in many cases. Not just for the patient, of course, but families and others.
Absolutely, absolutely. And staff have been working incredibly hard. We've had lots of stories through the media about the stressful time that people have been having, trying to look after these patients. And it's, absolutely so difficult for patients and their families when people are having to wait hours on these trolleys.
Dr. Faye Kirkland, thank you very much. Thanks.